right, it's October 28th, 2021, in the year of our Lord. I'm passing Fort Worth, Texas right now. That's where I've moved to. Not going to be specific about exactly where, because I'm keeping that on the down low. We are headed to Dallas to pick up Linda. And I think I missed my turnoff right there. Or I missed my exit. Let's see if this will reroute. Just give me a second. Now, I take that back. I didn't miss the exit after all. We're going to be passing Six Flags in Arlington, so we'll get the same shots we get when we pass by Six Flags and Hurricane Harbor and all that fun stuff. Sometimes I get shots of Ripley's Believe It or Not. And got a new song that we've been working on, or that I've been working on. Play on words. So I laid it down as a like soundtrack thing to one of my vlogs, and then I really like it. And that's the haunted house that will be going on in Fort Worth, called Haunted House. All I can see on that. I don't know who's sponsored or anything. I don't know anything about it really. I just passed by it. It's been there since the 90s, or at least the mid 90s. That demon-looking thing with the I guess the rod or the club in its hand. I guess it's a club. Anyway, I'll check back in a minute. That right there actually is a Channel 11 tower. You can see it on 21. It's been there quite a bit of time, since I was a kid. TXA and CBS. So they broadcast both from that tower. And that's actually the station they broadcast from, right next to the tower in Fort Worth. And Fort Worth had one of the first television programs in Texas. So it was actually broadcast out of Fort Worth back in the day. I learned that from Linda. Thanks, Linda. Well, Google told me to turn left here off of 820, so you just have to go through my old footage to see the Six Flags stuff. I got some really trippy stuff. One time I drove by there having somewhat of a, I wouldn't say a nervous breakdown, but an emotional outburst one time in one of my posts. You have to find it. It's very difficult to find. It's somewhat drama, somewhat real, somewhat, you know, acting. But I don't know. I was passing by Six Flags a while back. Anyway, yeah, we're going down this way instead. So we're going kind of through North Richland Hills towards Dallas. It says legacypower.com. I don't know what that is. It's a cool little Penny's logo there, right there. They changed their logo. That's Northeast Mall. It's the mall we used to kind of hang out with. You could buy skateboarding equipment and stuff like that back in the 90s. A place called Fast Forward. And that's where we bought our skateboards. I usually went with Tony Magnuson, skater. I guess it started off with a Neil Blender. And I think I stuck with Neil Blender a couple of boards. Eventually, I was an H Street fan. So I think I did get a couple of Tony Magnuson boards. Even though I was a street skater, I used a pretty big board to be a street skater. But I did do some ramp skating at Jeff Phillips skate park. And that was the mall back there that we would buy the skateboard equipment in and hang out. We had like long bowl haircuts, you know, the high tops. What was that called? Vision streetwear. Vision streetwear. Vision streetwear. Vision streetwear. The Powell Peralta Bones Brigade and H Street. and all those guys. So, real quick update. I also had a Matt Hensley board. Matt Hensley was an awesome street skater. He wanted to be a pilot. When he'd go to McDonald's, he'd only order meat and bread on his hamburgers. And he could do, I mean, every impossible, varial hill flip, trick known to mankind. These long rail slides on the handrails. He was just insane. And I don't know what happened to him, Matt Hensley. Leave a comment if you know. Really good skater back in the day. Talking about Matt Hensley again on H Street. Check out an old VHS copy, if you can find it. It's an old VHS copy. It's a skateboard video called Shackle Me Not. I no longer have it. I had it for several years. I think someone lifted it from me. But anyway, or I lost. I may have sold it. I don't know. But the only one that I have now that I can think of, I don't even know if I still have this one. But it's called, the last that I can remember, it was Public Domain. And I think I still had it. I played an old VCR. It's a Pal Peralta, one of their best skater videos, called Public Domain. I think it's like their third or fourth big video. It's after Animal Chin. I think it was a couple videos after Animal Chin, or maybe the video after Animal Chin. But it's got Tony Hawk, and there's a great opening, or a great segment in it. I think one of the greatest skateboard segments that I've seen on video. It's with Ray Barbie and a few others. I used to know all four of those skaters, but everybody knows that the filmmaker at that time told them to wear the same thing every day, as they filmed it over a period of a few days. So they wore the same clothes for continuity purposes, and they went out and they filmed it, and it was in black and white to a really cool soundtrack. Pal Peralta was behind that. It was in Public Domain, and two other skaters that are well known. Leave a comment if you know those other two. It's a really cool segment in Public Domain, which is Pal Peralta. I'm gonna see if I can go back and see that. My VCR's a little rusty. It works sometimes, but it's a really cool little VHS. They probably have it on DVD now, and you could probably get it probably right off YouTube. You probably can buy it eventually, hopefully. Okay, it might be coming to me now. It's Ray Barbie. It was, I want to say Chet Thomas. So I'm getting the third skater, and this black and white Pal Peralta opens. I can hear the song playing in my head, but I can't recall the band or the name of the song. But it has a very punk feel, and we all saw it when we were kids, and just like that was it. We were all gonna be skaters. We were skaters. I mean, we were big time skaters in Texas. We'd go out to Jeff Phillips and everything, and all our dreams were to be signed and all that kind of stuff. But the skaters I skated with was Dondi and Troy. Those were the big guys that I'd skate with. Another guy named Chris out in Summerfield. He had his own ramp, a vert ramp in his backyard. And then we would go to Jeff Phillips and watch, like, Neil Blender would show up. Mike Crum would show up. Jeff Phillips would be there doing these crazy bonelesses right into the vert and all this crazy stuff. He was the craziest skater. Also, one more last thing about Public Domain, which is Bones Brigade. It was done in 1988. I'd have to watch it, but I did find it. I think it is on YouTube, so you can actually watch it. So no need to go hunt down a VHS copy. Yay! Okay, I was wrong. He introduces it in Public Domain 1988, Pal Peralta, as the Rubber Boys. Steve Size, Chet Thomas, Ray Barbie, and Eric Sanderson. Those were the four skaters as black and white. I don't know why I thought Danny Way was part of that. I was just going by memory only. I looked it up. It was four of them. So the rumor was they had to wear the same clothes for a couple of days. I don't know if they filmed it, if they used actual film, or if it was video, but it was used for a video. So those were the four skaters. I got it right this time. So, man, I was way up. Well, I got Ray Barbie right. and Chet Thomas. I got those right. And it's Eric Sanderson and Steve Size, I think is what he said. So I'm reading Backbone by David H. Wagner. It's a pretty good one. And I guess it'll be a lesson in memory. I got Danny Way mixed up with Pal Peralta, which he was only H Street. So the four skaters that in that segment of the Pal Peralta Bones Brigade was Chet Thomas, Ray Barbie, Eric Sanderson, and Steve Size. Why I couldn't remember that, I don't know. Because it was one of my favorite segments, and I'm recalling it at 48 years old. I think it was something I needed to remember when I was younger, but for whatever reason that may be, I just never really could recall it, and now I'm recalling it. Something I had to get past. But there were just four, not real famous skaters, but it was a cool segment in Public Domain 1988 skate video, if you ever see it. The song starts with, my weakness is, I can't say no. My weakness is, I can't let go. I'm still trying to find the rock band that played, I guess they were kind of rock, maybe punk / rock, that were playing in the background of that segment. Anyway, I'm reading this book right now. Okay, I found it. The song is by Mick Rad, and the song is called Weakness. And that was a song that Chet Thomas, Ray Barbie, Steve Size, and Eric Sanderson were skating to in Public Domain, which is a Pal Peralta Presents Public Domain 1998 skate video. It's in black and white, so I just found it. Can't believe I found it. It's called Mick Rad is the name of the band. The song is called Weakness. You can feel the October going into November changing of the leaves, as they say. When the leaves begin to fall and we head into winter. I like here what David Wagner, or Wagner, however you want to say it, the modern man's ultimate guide to purpose, passion, and power, Backbone. I like what he says about the clarity of your vision and purpose is important. We need to know clearly where we're going. It's also important that our purpose has some fire and some passion. We need to be passionate about our vision so that we have the fuel we need to keep going. It has to move us. So we have to care deeply about our purpose. We have to want our vision with intensity, almost urgency. The vision and purposes that really propel us are the ones that we have to realize. He's a pretty good writer. He spent some time in India. He does identify with Christianity and the Christian purpose. This is really good. What is your passion? That's on page 46 of Backbone by David H. Wagner, or Wagner. I guess it's probably Wagner. David H. Wagner. The Modern Man's Ultimate Guide to Purpose, Passion, and Power. Oh, hey. Hang on, just give me a second. So from David Wagner, I was reading the first key, chapter 3, and I switched over to the second key, which I think is a good statement. Stop telling God how big your problems are and start telling your problems how big your God is. And that's from a bumper sticker. I thought it was pretty cool. He does quote Proverbs in chapter 3, which is the first key, knowing your vision. This one's the second part of the first key, the second key. It's about cultivating a deep and authentic spiritual connection. I like what Wagner says, David Wagner, what he says about becoming clean and sober and finding a spiritual connection. The hawk landed on the branch less than 30 feet away from where I was, and I just perched there. I shifted a little bit to see it better. I must have made a noise. The hawk jumped off the branch, spread its massive wings, and soared down into the valley with sunlight on its wings. I was astounded and felt massively blessed. Every hair stood on my body. My heart stirred inside my chest. I got a sign. I was never able to relate to the version of God that they talked about in church, but the vision of that hawk in the woods that day was exactly the sign that I needed. I learned to connect to a power greater than myself that I felt no pressure to define or name. I started praying daily and eventually added sitting meditations to my routine. But I never got into spirituality because it was cool or because it was fun or because my friends were doing it. I didn't seek a spiritual connection to save my soul or to be a good boy. I sought the connection with Spirit to save my ass and to give me the strength I needed as I walked the path of recovery and healing. I am proud to say that it worked, and as of this moment, I've clocked in more than 25 years clean and sober. The only person in my family to do so? Your spiritual connection can be, actually, it has to be on your terms. So he was a man that struggled with addiction, and he quotes AA right here and talks about the first 6 steps of the 12-step Alcoholic Anonymous program have to do with God and finding spirituality. Good writer. All right, so we're dealing with the date. So it's October 28th, about 3:14 p.m. And we found Linda, and we're going by her roommate's house to pick some stuff up, and then we'll be headed to Fort Worth. Kind of similar to last week. Linda may be moving in with me in the next month or so. So she may become an authorized occupant. So it's kind of what this is about. It's kind of what this is about too. Because at my other place in Carrollton, she was an unauthorized occupant. So we'll go from unauthorized to authorized, whatever that means. One of these days, we're going to look back at this stuff and be like, what in the world? Why would we even do this to people? But that's just how apartment complexes are. And because everybody's whereabouts has to be known by every company and things like that. It's, I don't know. Anyway, so that's what we're working on. Much is where Linda and I met, right down the road that way. It was actually officially at an Arby's parking lot, but then we went to a public pool. Kind of sit by the public pool. Windy. Remember this bush? Did you turn the car off, sweetie? Huh? Did you turn the car off? You doing some maintenance work on the car?
Alright. I could just bent my license plate.
How'd you do that?
No, I bumped something. I could be wrong. Maybe it's already like that. Hold on. Alright, I gotta get yours. Alright, hold on, sweetie. Hold on.
Well, I'm waiting on Linda. I figured I'd do some time lapse because the way the clouds are and everything. Set it against so you get the clouds. So I'm waiting on Linda, I guess, to feed the cat. See the bushes. These are some of the bushes that Right. I was sitting there time lapsing. Oh wow, there's another one.
Thank you for waiting. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's a personal plane right there. I'm sorry. Let me open this for you. I got rid of some of the baby powder, so it's not as dirty as it was. But most of the mildew, I think, got out. Oh my gosh, it's a lot, sweetie. It's a whole lot.
It's the raw chicken stuff.
All right. Let's just put it in here. We'll put it in the freezer.
Okay.
What are you gonna cook tonight?
This sounds interesting. Citrus
Tacos?
seasoned chicken breast pieces.
Do we have tortillas?
Yes.
We do have tortillas?
Yes, I have 2.
Okay.
And a red pepper.
A red pepper. I have a little bit of the red pepper left.
It looks like it got
Oh, whoa, you're dripping that right there. This is. Okay, I got some good news about the place though.
Hey, hold on, I just dropped my keys.
Here, I have this right here.
Hold
You
on.
dropped the keys where? Here, let's put it in here. Let's put it in this backup right here.
I don't know, maybe sometimes this fridge
Here,
too.
put the, yeah. Okay, so put that in there. And I'm gonna double stack that.
I left my phone in here, so.
Okay.